And we said, well, maybe it's more fair to rotate between houses. Well, that's when we started deciding we better start structuring things more, because it was getting crazy. There were all these people, some knew about Waldorf, some didn't. It was rotating between houses, so some people had Waldorf toys, and some didn't, and it was just getting a little crazy. So the first thing we did was we started with the outline of how we were going to structure the day for the mother-child class. And that's in the packet. So what we did was we made this outline using 3 different philosophies. And the first philosophy was the breathing in, breathing out, this sort of rhythm to the day. And we settled on 4 hours for our program, for the mother-child program. And that was sort of a morning. So the mothers would have the morning and then go back home for lunch in the afternoon. And so we would do the breathing in, breathing out, which means an activity that's breathing in, more internal and calming, and then something breathing out, more active and extroverted. And so that's why the activities alternate between breathing in and breathing out. That was a nice natural rhythm. And we also followed the other guideline of using the head, heart, and hands in the different activities, and sort of making sure all of those were covered. And then just to fill in, what we were doing, we first took cues from the programs we had come from. The traditional, when the children would come into the classroom, which was basically my dining room at first, we would start by making bread. So we would have the bread dough there and have it laid out, and all the children would start by making bread. And then we used some of the verses from her program, we used some of the verses from my program. So we really started out with general guidelines and just taking from what we were already familiar with. And then it really took off from there.
Every day or every day?
We started out with every other week. And then the mothers actually asked for more. They wanted once a week, which is actually a better rhythm, because then the child knows, okay, every Monday I'm going here, so it was a little better. But at first we just didn't know what we were doing. We just started it spontaneously. So it was very nice. We had this, and I forgot to mention, I want to say this at the beginning, because as I'm talking, it'll give you ideas. And it'll give you, when I'm saying things, you can put them into your own structure at home. Because my situation was different than yours is going to be. So I'm going to give you some other ideas how this may come about in your life. And one of them is perhaps your children go to a regular school.
That blue doesn't really show up.
Oh, no, this is just for me. These are like my notes, so that I'm remembering what to say. But this is the things you can copy down. The first thing you may use it for is if your children are going to a regular school, and you'd really like them to go to a Waldorf school, you can start an enrichment program for them or for them and their friends after school. And so that may just be an after-school program. Another thing is if you go to some sort of Sunday school program, and this could be any religion really, Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, they have Sunday schools. And maybe you'd like to make that program more Waldorf. Maybe your children go to a Waldorf school, but your church on Sunday just has a program that just isn't Waldorf, and you think, well, why don't I just integrate that in the Sunday school too? So you could, do that there. Another one is the packets that I have. You can hand these to your friends and family if they want to know more about Waldorf education, because these were the packets that I this started out as 2 pages and got to 60. And then we started handing them to every mother who was in the program. And they give a really good rounded view of all these questions people have. So that's another way you could use this information, is just to educate people. Another way is if you do get sent a year abroad somewhere. Lots of people get transferred for a year, or they get sent to a place where you were in a Waldorf school and then you're not. And so you can set up your own enrichment program or set up your own school. You can use it in homeschooling. You can either use the enrichment as a whole structure for your homeschool and make your homeschool 100% Waldorf, or you can just enrich your homeschooling curriculum with the Waldorf things. And then you can also use it for income. The first year or two, well, the first year we didn't make any money off of the program. And the second year, we didn't either. We broke even. But the third and fourth year, actually the income was pretty good. It was a good income. So I found myself doing something that I really liked and also earning enough money that I had some nice income. So if you wanted to do that as your outcome, your eventual outcome, give it a couple years and, or if you're, what I'm trying to do here also is share some of the bumps that I came into, because what happened here is it took me 4 years to develop all these things. But if I could just hand this to you and say, look, this is what I did. These are some of the problems I went through. I'm envisioning that somebody else could just take this and it would only take them 6 months instead of 4 years to create something similar. Maybe a year. I don't know, you know, a week. But you know, just hoping that also I can pass on this energy that I've used, thinking I want it to go to more places. So what I'm going to talk about is the internal structure of the program and the external structure, and then also just some of the growing issues that happened as the program grew. So the first thing, and I'm going to do this in a historical way. There's many ways I could talk about these things, but just to sort of follow a storyline. I'll keep this in storyline format. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of these issues, and I'll take you through the growth of my school. And so that's why I'm doing it in this order. It's not necessarily in any order of importance. It's just an order that it came up in our lives.